So Apple Music dropped a list of 100 of the best albums that Apple Music, the people over there, the experts, the curators, the hip hop heads, the rock heads, they all got together and they said, "Hey, forget genres. We're going to rank every album that ever came out, and we're only picking 100, and no one's gonna get mad." Ebro, who is at Apple Music, he has his show at Apple Music. He did drop this, which I think is important to go into this with this in mind. Voters of the 100 best on Apple Music were challenged not to vote for our favorites. But, so, Alive likes to talk about criteria. Apple Music, thanks to
They
Ebro,
gave you. They gave criteria. Okay.
through Ebro, has given us criteria. Albums that represented a cultural moment for the artist or the genre. Albums that were complete thoughts, not just a collection of hit songs. I feel like that was a shot at Thriller. We'll get to that later, but I feel like that was actually a shot at Thriller. Albums that thoroughly represent culture in production and lyrics.
I mean, I'm
Albums
not mad at this criteria so far, but continue. I'm really not mad at it.
albums that inspired a generation to want to create more music, albums that represent the best in storytelling, musicianship, recording, and production, and albums that are timeless
Mm.
and reached far beyond the genre categorization.
After reading this, I am not as mad as I thought I was gonna be.
Well, there's no way that we could go through the whole 100, right? But I do want to go and look at some of these in the hundreds. As a hip hop head, 98 Astro World Travis Scott, it steps to me a little bit. Being before Hotel California, the Eagles. I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah,
you.
that's kind of wild. That is kind of wild.
And
Like,
if we talking about inspired musicianship, you have very few bands like the Eagles that you could look at. The Eagles are up there with Pink Floyd and the Beatles for as far as who they've inspired.
I
And then
agree.
95 and 92 get me a little bit like, you gonna look me in my face and tell me Flower Boy is better than Confessions? Okay. All right. See, that's how I knew.
I'm actually happy that they put Confessions on there because I feel like it did transcend a lot of stuff, and the storytelling is there. I haven't heard Flower Boy. I actually was listening to it last night after seeing the list, and I was like, this is a pretty fire album. But I feel like we're gonna be biased because we grew up in the time that Confessions was out, so
Well,
we
I don't
felt
think
that.
I don't think I'm gonna be biased because look at 84. For me, 84 here is Doggy Style Snoop. And my perspective is gonna be hip hop centric, of course, right?
Of
But if you look
course,
at 84 Doggy Style, there's no way in life that the Marshall Mathers LP should be 80 and Get Rich or Die Trying should be 82 because Doggy Style is up there as one of the perfect albums of hip hop. I don't I its influence is unquestionable. It brought back California. You know what I'm saying? You have Chronic and you have Doggy Style. They held down the whole coast.
there are some albums that has brought back a whole coast, and Snoop has done it.
And if
He
you
has
talk
brought
about one
back
of
a
the
whole
most famous
coast.
rappers of all time, is Snoop, and it's not for no reason. There's a reason. The man was the face of West Coast hip hop. I mean, and Doggy Style, if you talking a complete, like not a collection of hits, but a complete thought, that's Doggy Style to me. And I get over here and I see something, and I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater. I love Bad
I
Bunny.
already know what you're talking about. I already know where he was going.
I love Bad Bunny. 76 of all time, though? You know what?
Above Hotel California. That's real.
And then to see Are You Experienced? B63. It's like they don't belong in the same line.
They
But
don't,
you know
but
what? I could be tripping. I could be tripping.
I
And
feel like
and
I
th-
feel like I feel like they I feel like they had the right albums, just maybe the wrong lineup,
yeah,
like maybe
but
the
they do that
wrong
on
list.
purpose. They do it so we could talk about it because this album at 60 is bananas. This the Velvet Underground and Nico. without that album, there is no
I
punk
feel like
rock.
that should be top 10 if I think about it.
There's that album started genres. Forget inspired you to do music. That album started genres.
It's hard to curate. These are all different genres, bro. Like,
I know.
but I
know.
do think.
It's
But
tough.
you know what? I feel like when you look at the criteria, right, and we see what we're trying to list, I do think we need to rearrange certain things. Like, I don't think the Velvet Underground is I mean it's definitely way more life changing and way more genre changing than a lot of those things, which is why I feel like it should be on the top 10 according to the criteria. So I feel like, yeah, you're right. Maybe they did do it on purpose so we could all just,
And
talk about it on our podcast and get mad. But I feel like no matter what kind of order you put it in, you know what I mean?
we would get mad.
Like like it's wild that Illmatic is at 30.
I'm happy that they gave us a frame of reference and then put this here. Because if you just put out a list and gave me Illmatic at 39, I would have torn my house up. I would, because that's the holy grail of hip hop. Personally,
but I feel like
I don't know
this is the holy grail of hip hop, and I feel like it should be higher, honestly.
I mean, and I feel the same way about A Love Supreme. I feel like A Love Supreme is one of the holy grails of jazz.
Oh my gosh, A Love Supreme!
I
didn't know that was on
54.
They really brought it back. Yo,
54.
how you do that? How you put that over the Beastie Boys? I mean Beastie Boys is cool, but
I don't know. I agree with you.
Drake.
And then
Drake.
we get over here, and it's just like,
wait, did we Drake though? I'm sorry, bro. Continue.
Oh, yeah. No, but I just wanted you to talk about Billie Eilish being just as good as the Tribe Called Quest in music.
Wow.
And just right there with Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. Like Billie Eilish is right.
I haven't heard a Billie Eilish album, but I'm almost certain that it should never be that close to something as amazing as the Low End Theory. I gotta
listen now.
It has to.
I have to listen.
Yo, that joint outbeat Confessions. That joint outbeat. I just
Jimi
realized
Hendrix.
what it outbeat. It outbeat a lot. What?
And then here we get
Swift yet. I haven't even seen Taylor Swift yet.
We get to some of the biggest blunders I think on the list here. Like the Chronic 19. Okay, you guys put Illmatic where it is, fine. But these two right here, these two babies, 21 and 20, whoever did that, Apple Music, did it on purpose. You did it on purpose, and that's impact. If we're talking about impact, this is generational. Pet Sounds is generational. CJ Cross was going on. Without Pet Sounds,
Punk is at 20.
Listen, without Pet Sounds, you don't have music the way you have it now. The way they recorded and tracked and mixed in that. I get people don't even care about stuff like that no more, man.
You on a different level when you talk about that stuff. Like you really talk about musicianship. You really talking about some next stuff.
Yeah, but the mic placements. That's one of the first. That's one of the first albums where they changed mic placements on drums. You know what I'm saying? Like they were tracking drums and they're EQing them on that.
I love My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think it's one of Kanye West's most beautiful albums.
It's his best.
How did it beat Illmatic?
I like it. I like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
How did it beat Love Supreme? I think it's an amazing. I just think that it's just maybe I'm guessing on how amazing it really is. Maybe it is more amazing than I think. But my guy,
yeah, you about to lose your mind.
High.
You about to lose your mind here because we got Taylor Swift at 18.
Oh, I was waiting.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, and it did not disappoint in the disappointment area.
Hey, for
sure.
You know how I be defending her? I deserve this. Like when I saw it, I was like, "You're the reason that this happens." Are they going by streams? Nah. Ebro, who is at Hot 97, said that they're going by a slew of different criteria. I don't understand how this fits and how is that close to what's going on.
The
Marvin Gaye.
Swifties, the Swifties, the Swifties love 1989. Do not get a 1989 if you don't want those Swifties in the comments. But I agree with you. Wow.
Now this we're getting into
into
territory of best albums of all time. I think you can make an argument that What's Going On is one of the best albums of all time. I think you can make an argument that that the Fleetwood Mac Rumors is one of the best albums of all time. So I think we're getting into territory of best albums of all
is
time.
pretty high up there too. I actually am not mad at where OK Computer is.
All right. I like the Blueprint. I don't understand why it's this high, but hey, hip hop. I wouldn't even take I wouldn't take the Blueprint over Illmatic, but whatever. You know, we continue. You gotta